Sonic Adventure 2 is a game that has honestly always boggled me, because to a good majority of the Sonic fandom, it's either considered their favorite Sonic game or top 3 at a minimum. This never made any sense to me. I have never held this opinion, nor really understood it, because to me, Adventure 2 was a 7 out of 10 when I played it. Wasn't bad, wasn't great either, it was just pretty good. I didn't hate it or anything, but it was always just kind of that pretty good range. But that seems to be a very unpopular opinion. This game is always regarded as the greatest Sonic game, as I was saying earlier, but I just don't understand it. And so, in today's video, I aim to bring some criticisms that I have with Sonic Adventure 2 that simply makes me not enjoy it as much as this game's predecessor, Sonic Adventure. I really love this game. This is top 3 Sonic game for me. I feel like the roles are reversed. Most people say that Sonic Adventure was a 7 out of 10, pretty good game, and then Sonic Adventure 2 is the crazy GOAT game that everyone loves. I just think their roles are reversed, and I'd like to explain why I think that. In Adventure 2, there are 3 main gameplay styles that are pulled from Adventure 1, of course. You have your speed stages, your treasure hunting stages, and your mech stages. I think all of these are simply downgrades from their originals. Now, starting with the mech stages, since there's the least to say about these, I think they kind of ruined what made Gamma special in Adventure 1. Gamma was pretty fun because you got to blast through these mini little remixes of Sonic stages, and you got to blast through enemies with your gun here, and then once you got to the end of a stage, you would be able to take down one of these dudes. These took like 30 seconds to 2 minutes tops. So they were short, fun little remixes of a Sonic stage. They were well paced because, you could move around at a good speed, because, you still felt like you were controlling a robot, but you weren't controlling a flippin' tank. It wasn't slow. It was well paced. None of this applies to Adventure 2. Now, I do appreciate that these are fully original stages. I absolutely appreciate that. Now that they're truly their own kind of thing, it's not just like, here's this little fun thing. They're fully fleshed out stages, and I really like that. That is very cool. But, man, the pace is ruined because everything you do, anything, jumping, shooting, turning, everything slows you down. The only way to go above 4 miles an hour is to hold straight. But the issue is that you can't just go forward because, you're having to do stuff. And so everything feels clunky, and every single thing you do feels like a pace breaker. It feels like these would have been a lot more fun if there was a steady flow, but there isn't any because it feels like the game is always trying to ruin that. Now there's the length. These stages are way too long, in my opinion. They overstay their welcome, because in almost every stage, there's a cool new gimmick that you get to see. And I like seeing that, and a lot of these are really fun. But it starts to get a little old when I have to do that gimmick like 7 times during a stage. It just gets a little bit boring, and it's just kind of repetitive. Because Gamma was repetitive in kind of a fun way. It was kind of a shoot-'em-up kind of fun. Like, you were just kind of blasting enemies, and it was fun like that. But this is just like rinse and repeat. Now on to the treasure hunting stages. In Sonic Adventure, Knuckles was a fun character just because you would look around for the emerald pieces, right? Very simple concept. This is carried over to Adventure 2. But the problem comes in with, what made Adventure 1's emerald hunting fun? This was actual emerald hunting. It wasn't just looking around until you find it. Because you actually got to look around, and a lot of these were visible, floating in the air. But in Adventure 2, you don't really come across that much, because they added a new mechanic, which is where you can climb into walls. You can dig through the floor or dig through a wall to find the emerald. It makes it where you're not looking for it anymore. You have to rely on the radar. There is no way to find these wall emeralds because you can't see them. Now yes, is it devastating really? No, but I feel like it takes a lot of the fun out of it because a lot of times I'd see an emerald shard out of the corner of my eye and I'd go over there and I wouldn't need the radar. The radar was a assist. The radar would help you a lot, but it was never just a you have to have it. Then there's the radar. They kind of ruined this too because in the original adventure, it would just tell you where the emerald shards were. That was it. But in Adventure 2, now you can only detect one emerald shard at a time. And wow, this has got to be some of the worst padding garbage I have ever seen in a game. Like, dude, I would rather them be splitting crap into Act 6s from Sonic Colors than them doing this. This is horrible. This is one of the worst decisions ever made in this game. Just because now, once you find one emerald, well, now you gotta go look around the entire stage just to find another. You have to find them in this specific order, and now that they're hidden in the ground, it makes it way worse, because in these giant stages, which are absolutely massive, all you're really doing is flying around willy-nilly until you hear beep, 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 and then you gotta climb into the wall and maybe you'll find it. Or maybe it's in an enemy, which, yes, that was granted, that was in Adventure 1, but just the fact that the radar actually functioned like you think it would was super huge. In Adventure 1, Knuckles was a fun gameplay style where you'd look around for emerald pieces with a radar to assist you. That was it. But in Adventure 2, now it's this jumbled mess of a giant level race track where you gotta go find stuff in a specific order. And it goes from a 3 to 5 minute little fun stage to a 5 to 15 minute just drag. And it's a shame that it's that way because they put a lot more effort because these are original stages, but I feel like they're fundamentally flawed, which makes them not very fun. Then there's the speed stages. Now, these are definitely the best part of Sonic Adventure 2, no question, but they're still definitely a step down from Adventure 1's. Well, let's take a look at that. So, in Adventure 1, you've got your Sonic stages. The things that made these fun to me were that they were bigger. They were linear stages. It was point A to point B, but there was a lot of room to explore, a lot of room to look around. And you could find secrets. And, of course, the most commonly stated one, speed highway, look, you can go on this building. I'm sure this is just cliche to say, but it's definitely something to keep in mind because you don't see much of any of this in Adventure 2. And I don't know why. I really don't. It's kind of a shame. Adventure 2 made the game so linear that there's almost no deviation from the path. And then there's momentum. Yes, momentum was hugely a feature in Sonic Adventure. All the characters had this integrated into their gameplay pretty much. And Sonic was no exception. Wow, you got your spin dash. Look at this, you're going crazy fast, rolling down these hills. It's a blast. But in Adventure 2, there's just not really much of that. Yes, in the physics of the game, there is most definitely momentum, but it's never really needed or ever really used, which is really strange to me, and I don't quite understand that, because that felt like almost the cornerstone of Adventure 1's Sonic gameplay, was the momentum. That felt like a big part of that gameplay, but it's just kind of not utilized here. It's not disregarded or not included in any capacity kind of thing, but it's just kind of not considered really that important anymore. Now, I know people are going to say I'm just nitpicking for this, but I despise Adventure 2 Spin Dash with a burning passion. It just sends an inner rage into my soul because of one simple change they made. So, in Adventure 1, you press the action button, and you start revving up a spin dash. That's it. It's that simple. Then you let go of the button, and of course, the longer that you've held that button down, the more your spin dash is charged. And then you release it, and you go zoom zoom. Easy, right? Well, in Adventure 2, you press the action button, you're holding it down, and then you have to wait about like a half a second. Maybe even more than that. Definitely more than that. You have to wait like almost a full second, and then you start performing a spin dash. You start revving it up. This has got to be one of the most infuriating things to ever come out of a Sonic game. This is just insufferable. It's so unsatisfying. And really, that's kind of all I gotta say. It feels like they took what Adventure 1 did really right and then just kind of ignored it. And I don't get it. I don't understand why people think Adventure 2 is better. I'm not like mad at anyone who thinks that. I don't care, but I still have never understood it. And I just don't get it. And so, I'm actually curious. I want to reach out to you. If you're watching this video, tell me, do you think Adventure 2 ignored what Sonic Adventures 1 did wrong and then brought in new ideas that were fresh and made it good? Because I understand that take. That's a totally valid viewpoint. Or are you like me? Do you see it where they took what Adventure 1 did right, ignored that, and then brought in these new sort of mediocre-ish ideas that just kind of weigh down the experience? And so, with all of that said, regardless of what you think of SA2, I just wanted to kind of put what I thought out there and see kind of what the opinion is, what people think about this game, because I am genuinely curious about it. And so, I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.